All right, welcome back, everybody. It's been an interesting day in crypto. Basically, our price of Bitcoin has been following the news with the traditional stocks, with the Fed unlimited printing of money, with the stimulus packages getting rejected. So we'll take a look at how Bitcoin was correlated with the stock market today. However, overall, if you look at the two side by side, the stock markets have been falling and Bitcoin had its bounce and slowly rising. So we'll analyze all of that today. If you like these videos, hit the like, comment, subscribe, tick the bell for notifications. This is Crypto Rolly, the crypto watch that never stops, live technical analysis, price predictions, and trading. Remember, these are my own ideas and opinions on the market. Please do your own research, trade at your own risk. I am not your financial advisor. All right, so let's take a look at the markets. Yes. All right, let's take a look. So we are up 6% on Bitcoin in the last 24 hours, over 2 billion in real volume. So pretty good day. Across the board, you have like Litecoin up 7%, Tezos up 9%. 6% on Chainlink. So everything's doing pretty well off that Fed pumping news. We'll talk briefly about that. I'm sure a lot of you have already heard about it. The crypto fear and greed index still very low, down at a 10, 11, 8. We still can't climb out of the extreme fear. And what I wanted to point out was we've been down in this extreme fear level for quite a while. Often you don't stay this far. When we were down here August 2019, it was a quick bounce right back up. Let's go out to the max if we can see the max. You can see most often there's sharp bounces back up once you get this low. The last time we stayed in this level, this was, what are we looking at, end of December 2018. So yeah, back when we were down at the bottom of 2018, November, December, we were down in that 3 to 4K range. This is when you saw the extreme fear this low. So, are we at the bottom now? Good chance, okay? I mean, maybe we have a little bit further to go, or we could have found the bottom. But just interesting to note that we have been down low for a while. So a relief rally, could really take that fear out of us temporarily. We could get a nice little bounce up here if we could get a relief rally, okay? The block halving is 50 days away, so less than 2 months. All eyes on the block halving. There's going to be more and more news coming out about that. I saw actually news. I'm sorry, I already deleted it. But basically, Bitmain has released their new miner, and they've sold out immediately. They already sold out like within the first 24 hours. And, the funny thing is they're not going to ship them until May 11th, which is basically when the halving is. So, people are accusing Bitmain of already having these advanced miners, and they're not going to let anybody else, any retail or anybody else, have them until after the halving. Just funny. Yeah, you'll get more news about that, okay? And then let's go to the charts, all right? So we're looking at prices around 6,350 currently. Just looking at this right here on the daily, if we can close this candle at current price, this is a pretty nice candle close, to close a full body back above. So a bullish engulfing candle to close back above this one. And, looking like a bit of a bull flag potentially. This could be the beginning of a breakout. Looking at potential around 7,700, to test back up in this region. We could make another attempt back. This support level is 6,600. So we are still trying to fight that. We'll look at our indicators more closely. But I wanted to look at the S&P 500 because you can see this is where we started the day, okay? This is a 15-minute chart on the S&P 500. And we'll go over to Bitcoin's 15-minute chart, okay? And what's interesting is this pump happened before the stock market opened, okay? So the stock, we were actually trending downwards, last night, overnight. And then right before the stock market opened, they announced that the Fed basically has unlimited printing ability. They can just keep printing as much money as they want, to help out these collapsing industries, to help out the American people, to be able to, provide for the stimulus packages that they are, asking for. So on that news that there's unlimited printing, you had this huge pump, which is interesting because basically, they're saying we will do whatever it takes to save the markets. But at the same time, it's going to devalue the fiat currency. The more that they just print, monopoly money out of thin air, the less and less the USD value will be. So Bitcoin has a fixed supply. So over time, this could be good news for Bitcoin considering, its fixed supply. So interesting to see how this will work out in the long run. Short term, yes, the economy may need it. Long term, it could collapse. And we all go to Bitcoin. All right. So anyways, what was interesting, so we opened up and then actually the price sold off. You can see how it sold off here and then rose up. Well, let's look. This is the 15-minute chart. Look at the 15-minute chart on the stock market. It had a little sell-off and then a rally, and then it sold off again. So sell-off, rally, sell-off, right? And it actually ended the day a little bit up, okay? So then we had a sell-off, rally, and a sell-off. And then when the stock market ended the day a little bit up, Bitcoin ended it up a little bit up. So it's funny to see, during the actual trading hours of the Wall Street stock markets, you can see that Bitcoin does follow the price of the stock market. Okay, just to point that out. But let's zoom out, look at the 4-hour, and let's zoom out and look at this 4-hour. This has been trending downwards, hasn't found its bottom. Bitcoin has bottomed. Now, could we get rejected and then continue downwards like, S&P 500? This is a possibility. But though we are seeing a direct correlation on, certain days on the 15-minute chart between Bitcoin and the stock market, overall, Bitcoin's actually outperforming since the big sell-off. Just to note that, okay? And, if you're looking for where could the S&P 500 bottom, they were talking about this level here. Let's close the moving averages. Basically, you could have, there was resistance back here. There was a lot of trading back here in 2015, 2016. This was a resistance level flip support. So this could be possibly where they're looking, around $2,100. We're at just above 2,200. So they're looking at a potential bottom around 2,100. So a little bit more room to go based off of that target. Okay, so moving on, let's go to Bitcoin. First off, I have to say there is a pending death cross coming here. We have the blue 50 SMA and the pink 200 SMA. The 50 is at 84.42 currently, and the 200 is at 83.82, about a $60 difference. And these are converging. I think by the end of today, you could possibly see these officially cross, if not like literally kissing against each other. If we get a pump, maybe we are able to, what's the word for it? I don't know. But basically, maybe it doesn't end up crossing. If we could pump, maybe it doesn't end up crossing. But I think, either today or maybe tomorrow, we will see this death cross. They haven't been the most accurate signals recently, the golden and death cross on the daily with the 50 simple and the 200 simple. You can see this was the last death cross we had, and we actually pumped. This was the last golden cross we had, and we dumped. So now we're getting a death cross. Could we pump again? Possibly, or maybe this one actually does play out. So we're just going to track that, guys, okay? And then I want to look at some trend lines, and then we'll do our usual breakdown, okay? So hit that like, guys. Thank you for, watching these videos. Let's take a look at our trend lines. So remember this falling channel that we were in for such a long time and we finally broke bullish? Well, we ended up dropping and finding support at the bottom of that trend line, which is very interesting to see. And now we are banging up against it right now. So could we break out of here and, break this trend line again? That's a possibility, but as of now, we are still looking at resistance here. And if we do get rejected, we could be stuck in this falling channel the same way we were here for such a long time. This vertical line here is going to be your halving. So, do we bounce around in here until the halving and then work our way back up? That's a possibility as well. And if you go down to the 4 hour, just real quick, I also, found some interesting trend lines you could draw. You have one right here, a nice support. You have down here at the bottom, and then you have a support here and support here. So this could be, a support moving forward just to keep an eye on. And we also had a trend line here that, interesting, we broke above. If you had a touch, and then you had a third touch, we broke above it and found support above it. And look, we found support right there exactly. It's interesting. Okay, we can draw patterns and trend lines all day long. I just wanted to point those out. They are a bit interesting. So let's go back out to the weekly. Doing good on time. All right. And, looking at your horizontals is something that we've been looking at. And basically, you found, a support range right in here based off that price action. And when we did get the initial first pump, look where we wicked up to. Exactly right there around, 6,900, 7,000. Okay. So, look to see that as a resistance level for sure. Okay. And let's just pull out the indicators, our moving averages. We can pull up the rest of them now. I just wanted to show the 50 and the 200 at the top, and I'll actually leave the 50 there for now. Hopefully it's not too distracting, a lot of lines, but I saw on the 4 hour that it was actually a good one to have. I'll show you when we get down to that level. So yesterday we did get the weekly close. Bitcoin likes to keep it interesting, right? Always making it a tough call. You basically have a, indecision, doji, wicks on both sides. We closed beneath the green 200 EMA, but back above the pink 200 simple. So, it depends. Like, what if you only use the 200 simple and you don't use the 200 EMA? Well, if you zoom out, we found nice support back here in 2018. And, to close just beneath and get back above is potentially a good sign. If you were only looking at the 200 simple, I mean, you'd be like, okay, guys, we were saved again by the 200 simple. But throwing that 200 EMA on, you're like, well, interesting, we weren't able to close back above that. Why did we close just beneath it? So just adding more indecision, making this more difficult, that's why we're going to just maintain that neutral stance and, allow you to form your own opinion, because I could argue both sides. And the funny thing is, anybody can. Basically, if you want to find a bearish narrative, you can find one here. If you want to have a bullish bias, you could find one here. And often traders, instead of looking at both sides equally, they say they're bullish, and they will find every which way to prove why they're bullish and ignore anything that's bearish. And same for the bears. They will show you all the bearish indicators and ignore the bullish ones. So we have to be aware of everything. But this is looking decent here. The Bollinger Bands, we're in the bearish zone here, but finding a nice bounce. So we'll have to see how that plays out. Our Ichimoku clouds, your resistance is going to be here with the blue conversion line at 71.75. So we could make another attempt back in this region and see if we're able to, break it and go higher up to around what you have 8,600 would be your next resistance level using Ichimoku clouds. And our stochastics on the weekly are starting to converge. So if we can hold this price this week and, close above the 200 EMA this week, you could see this possibly cross back up. And, maybe this was just, a big sell-off due to the pandemic. But also something I mentioned on Twitter is, what if, I think I've mentioned this here, but the BitMEX liquidation engine pushed price down much farther than it should have fallen. Yes, we should have fallen due to the world panic and everything like that, but were we really going to fall down to 3,800? And they admitted that they were attacked on this date specifically. They were attacked pushing the prices down. So, and then once they shut down the exchange for maintenance, you saw this bounce back immediately, and now we're trending back above 6K. So maybe we're finding our fair price. Maybe we would have dropped, but we wouldn't have dropped as hard. So we are finding fair price back above 6K. This is just, a hypothesis, okay? So sticking to our indicators, you can see on the daily Stokes are still rising up, and they're breaking into the neutral territory. So you saw the weekly looking to possibly cross up. The daily Stokes, they are up. This this candle here is looking to be bullish engulfing depending on how it closes. Your RSI is breaking this downtrend. You can see here, if you draw a line right here, you can see that basically we've broken out of this downtrend on the daily. So that's a good sign. When we broke this uptrend on the RSI daily, we knew that there was a good potential for a pullback. So this is a good potential for a rally possibly. But, things are bearish. So overall, like the landscape of markets, have a bearish outlook. The death toll keeps rising, more and more people applying for unemployment. There's just so much negative news out there that, it's hard to really be super bullish, but we got to just look at the chart and take it one step at a time. Going to our other indicators, let's, not neglect anything here. Bollinger Bands, your Bollinger Bands, you see the middle BB as resistance here. So you're going to want to break above 67.56 would be your middle BB resistance. And on the Ichimoku clouds, you have also similar area of resistance. This is actually saying 65.34, your blue conversion line. So if you can get a daily close above 65.35, let's say, I definitely think the pink 200 simple at 71.75 could be tapped again, okay? You can see that pretty clear. So we need to get a close, around 65.50 on a daily would be good to see. But closing just above this would also be pretty decent for that bullish engulfing. Our moving averages, so still just bouncing between the yellow 21 EMA and the blue 10 simple. Your support on the blue 10 simple is 5,700. Your resistance is 67.11, and we are just in the sideways consolidation here. Okay, so we're looking to see which way is this going to break. Are we just putting in another series of lower highs and this is going to fall over and test back down to our lows? Or are we actually going to rally higher? Your next level up, if you can beat 6,700, the yellow 21 EMA, you have the 50 EMA, this orange 50 EMA at 76.83. Okay, let's look at our 12-hour. On the 12-hour, looking to close back above the yellow 21 EMA and your resistance on the 50 EMA at 69.29. Our Bollinger Bands, we are still in the bullish zone of the Bollinger Bands, and your Stokes could get a cross up here, okay? Depending on this 12 hours is going to close with the daily in about, 3 hours and 15 minutes. So still some time. But, if it finishes off the day bullish, you could get a nice cross back up on the 12-hour. And like I said, we're still in the bullish zone there, okay? Ichimoku cloud. Ichimoku, you're above your blue conversion, and your resistance is above at 69.38 with the pink conversion line. Going down to the 4-hour. 4-hour, we are in the cloud, and you have at least we're back above the blue conversion. Your Stokes are pointed up nice and healthy, and the top of this cloud resistance at 65.34, almost exactly as one of those other indicators on the other time frame. So we need to see us, close back, it was the daily. So if we can close back above, 65.35, 65.50, get back above this resistance cloud on the 4 hour, it'll be nice. And like I say, we have the Stokes crossed up. So, everything is this is why it's difficult, because things are showing me to stay long. However, there's just so much bearish news out there. You know what I mean? It's hard. And, but the stocks keep, slowly falling lower and lower, and Bitcoin hasn't. So this, somewhat bullish. But, maybe the stocks are just dragging Bitcoin down. Maybe Bitcoin would have more momentum to the upside if the stocks were performing well. If the stocks were, had bottomed and are trending up, we would see Bitcoin move up more explosively. But because they are still falling slowly, Bitcoin's having a hard time with that breakout, okay? And if you're looking at this on the 4 hour, you can, and I had drawn, I got too much going on there. So, but you can see low, higher low, higher low, higher low. We just need to get another higher high here, because you do have, a new higher high. This high is higher than this previous one and this one. So as long as we can get back above there, you have higher lows and higher highs, on the short term. Otherwise, if we do fall over and come down, you are looking at lower highs, okay? So I think that's everything as far as that. We can, finish up with the Heikin Ashies. It's been 21 minutes. I want to keep this video short. I'll take a break on the altcoins, because right now all eyes are on Bitcoin. If Bitcoin's performing well, the altcoins will perform well. If Bitcoin drops, the altcoins will drop. So, and a lot of them have similar looking charts. Just going over to Ethereum, I won't do a breakdown, but we can just take a look at it. It looks almost identical, okay? I mean, this is the Heikin Ashi, but you can see, this is a link. They look almost the same, okay? So I don't need to, just repeat myself over and over. So looking at the Heikin Ashi, the 4 hour on the Bitcoin is bullish for now. The 12 hour is bullish, the daily is indecision, wicks on both sides, but we are looking at potential bull flag, consolidation, or local top. So this makes sense. And, the weekly, not as bad as it was before, okay? So, if we can finish a little more bullish at the end of the week, this could be an indecision one with wicks on both sides possibly. And the monthly will be coming in about a week's time. And this is a pretty, interesting wick we have here, that's for sure. It's bearish. Let's take a look at the actual candle of this one. And look at the Stokes real quick. Stokes snaking around, we'll have to see. I mean, this is a strong bounce, I do have to say. And, for it to bounce back above this level, back above 6K, where this was the support level, on all these monthly candles, for us to come down and wick up, if we can close above 6K, it's not so bad. Not so bad, okay? Moving averages, do I see anything here? This is Coinbase. Let's go to Bitstamp. Back above the 50 EMA. I don't think we'll get above the yellow 21 EMA, but it could have been worse. It's a nice buyback. We'll just follow up. All right, that's all for today, I believe. I am posting my exclusive member-only videos for my group. If you're interested, you can look down below. There's information down low, exclusive videos, trading group. If you want to learn, great opportunity. So like I said, the info's down below. Feel free to contact me. We are using the Discord app. You can use this on your phone or the computer, and you have, different signals, charts, chat, community, learning, tutorials. All right. So thanks again for watching, and I will see y'all next time.